How's it going? This is part one of A Woman's Guide to Balancing Hormones Naturally. I'm so happy you're here. This is just the introduction video. Welcome. Like I said, I'm so glad you're here. I wish I would have had this program 10, 20 years ago when I was struggling with my hormone health. I was inspired to write this program because I was tired of seeing everyone around me wrestle with the effects of hormone imbalances, and I knew I had to do something about it. Something to help them rebalance, to tune those hormones up. You'll notice in this program that there are no canned products. You'll be eating fresh foods to help you reduce exposure to hormone disrupting BPA that's found in canned products. Many of the canned products have BPA, and so do plastic. And so we're going to be talking about those hormone disruptors in this presentation. To further reduce your exposure to hormone disruptors, be sure you choose clean sources of protein. That means grass-fed, pasture-raised, organic, all that kind of stuff. The first phase of this program, what we're trying to do is reduce the toxins going in. And also to swap your current household cleaning products and beauty products with toxin-free versions. And last but not least, make a point to take a high-quality probiotic daily and drink lots of clean water to help gently boost detoxification. But we're going to be talking more about that. If you don't know me, I'm Tami Jersey Roberts. I'm a functional nutrition health coach on a mission to help women reclaim their health and vibrancy by bringing their hormones into balance and breaking free from the dangers of processed food, sugar, and toxic chemicals. You may be thinking, why hormone health? Well, I'm healthy and thriving now. I haven't always been. By the time I hit my late 40s, I would be in so much pain. I'd medicate as much as I could and just try to sleep through the worst of it. But most of the time I couldn't even sleep, even though I was exhausted. And here's a picture of me at age 61. That was last year. So let's get this party started. Women's Wellness Program, how to balance your hormones naturally. So the first thing you'll want to do is download your materials. There's a recipe guide. This is where you'll find my chef-created hormone balancing recipes. There's also suggested meals and shopping lists. While you can feel free to make your own menus and all of that, I have provided that to save you a ton of time and make meal planning and grocery shopping super easy. There's also a hormone balancing superfoods cheat sheet, your go-to cheat sheet. Download it to your phone for easy access. And this gives you a list of all the superfoods that induce hormone balancing. And then food diary, and we're going to be talking a lot about tracking. I highly suggest recording your foods and your moods and any symptoms that come up so that we can see what's working for your unique body. Everyone is unique. We're all different. We're all in a different place. And so we need to find out where you are right now, and tracking is really the best way to do that. And you want to pay special attention to the foods that energize you and foods that cause you to drag. There's a lot of foods that are touted as being healthy, but that doesn't mean they are healthy for your body. And I'll be talking more about how I found out about that. All these great foods that were recommended to me and all these different programs and books, but they weren't right for me, and we're going to be talking about how I discovered that. So you'll definitely want to use the food diary, and when we get into the functional medicine tools, I have another tracking sheet that you'll track a lot more than that, but let's just I want to start out slow And I might as well just bring that up now, that it can be overwhelming depending on where you're coming from to start a program like this. And some people are okay with just going all in. They clean out their pantry and get their new pantry set up and they're all in. They're there. Everything's good. Other people, they've got to phase in. And either way is okay. I am okay with either one. It's fine if you just start out with a couple of recipes here and there thrown in, and a lot of the recipes are set up where you make multiple portions so that you can have freezer meals, making your life simpler, because I don't want to add to the stress and complication in your life right now. So if it's too stressful for you to go all in, it's perfectly fine to start out with just a couple of breakfasts here and there, a couple of lunches, a couple of the dinners, and gradually we'll just work up to the whole thing. There's no time frame, although this is set up for a 30-day plan that we're on, but as long as it takes you, we'll be there. So shop and follow the suggested meals. So you'll want to shop for healthy foods. Take your shopping list with you to the grocery store and purchase your healthy foods. And right now it can be difficult to go to the grocery store. So a lot of people use pickup services or curb services or delivery services. And I actually order a lot of the things online because some of the things are difficult to find locally where I live. And they're more expensive to order locally, and so I just order them online. And in the membership area in the products info sheet, I have a link to those on Amazon that you can use. And I spoke a little bit earlier about using probiotics during this because we want everything to be working properly, and some of the foods are going to be probiotic and prebiotic. And I'll be explaining as we go what all this means if you're not familiar. Because, like I said, everyone's starting from a different place, and I don't know what your diet and lifestyle is like now, but we're going to work it gradually. And I always think it's better to go slow and start low participation and low with any changes, because if you change too much at one time, you don't know what's helping and what's not sometimes. Although the changes, if you do decide to go all in on this meal plan, there aren't any changes that are that drastic that are going to cause any problems. But you know, if there are any issues, I'm always available. So just hit the help desk button in the membership center, or just send me an email or hook up with me in the Facebook group, and I'll be happy to see where you are and see what's going on, try to help you figure out what's going on, because one of my main missions is to help you become your own medical detective. And you may not be even having any problems, you just want to boost your health, boost your immune, especially in the times that we're in right now. A lot of people are thinking about that. So, and like I said earlier, if you can't find stuff at the grocery store, go to the product info section in the membership center, and I've got a lot of links there. If you can't find something, just let me know, because I do want to say that the foods are meant to be in the combination that they're in. So if you're allergic to something, or you already know you're allergic to something, let me know what it is so I can suggest a substitution, because we're going to be working on detoxing some of the hormone disruptors from your body. And whenever you detox, it's very important that the elimination pathways are working properly. And also it's very important that you have binders, what are called binders, in the diet along with the detoxifying food, so that the toxins that come out will actually, whatever you're detoxing will actually be bound to the binder, and then it'll be eliminated. If you don't have the binders in there, the toxins could go back into your bloodstream and just start recirculating. And a lot of people, they end up in their fat cells. And we don't want to do that. So I'm not trying to scare you or anything. I'm just saying that try not to try to use the combination of foods that I have provided in each of the recipes, because I went over them thoroughly to make sure that they're in the right combinations. And follow the suggested meal plans. You're welcome to create your own meal plans, but I've created, nutritionally sound, fantastic meals for you. And, feel free to adjust them as you need. You can cook once and eat 2 or 3 times. Sometimes people are single and they only want to have, dinner one night, and then they'll save another portion for dinner another night when they don't have to cook. It just depends. A lot of the recipes have servings for 4 to 6 servings. Some of them are 8 servings, I think. So, we'll use them multiple times through the week. And throughout the whole 30 days, we'll be using a lot of the same ingredients in different ways, so that once you get your pantry set up, you'll actually be set up for the next 6 months, because a lot of the things that you buy, you only use a little bit at a time. And so I've got recipes for the next 6 months in this program, although it's month to month, but the next 30 days and the next 30 days. And I want to mention here too that there are quite a few pages to print, and so what I've done is set up a book on Amazon that has all the materials for month 1 and 2 in one book, so that if you don't want to print it, or you could also just put it on a zip drive, a thumb drive, and take it down to a place like Office Depot and have them print it for you. You could also just order the book, and I'll have the link in the products info section and a couple other places probably. As soon as I get it in the mail, I just uploaded it to Amazon, so I don't even have it yet, but it'll be there shortly, and I'll show you what that looks like. And you'll be able to order it directly from Amazon to save you a lot of time, a lot of hassle, and a lot of ink. Of course, you can always just look at it digitally also, because I've got this set up where you'll be able to see it on most phones, iPads, and of course your computer. Anyway, the main idea is just keep it simple and don't make it overcomplicated. If you get overwhelmed and stressed, you're defeating the whole purpose. We're going to talk more about that stress hormone, cortisol. So, as I said earlier, we're going to be eliminating the hormone disrupting foods. You'll kick off the program by eliminating foods known to adversely affect the reproductive system and disrupt hormone balance. These include conventional dairy, gluten, refined sugar, industrialized cooking oils, coffee, alcohol, processed food, and foods with chemicals. Now, as soon as I say coffee, that's where some people draw the line. So I have put in the products info section a link to a couple of different coffees that you can drink. It's not as beneficial as just giving it up, but some people will just drop the whole thing if they can't have their coffee. So I don't want that to happen. So instead of eating foods that mess up your hormones, you'll be incorporating hormone balancing juices, smoothies, soups, and delicious healthy entrees. Remember, when choosing your foods, it's always best to choose organic to avoid toxins like GMOs, pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides, which disrupt your hormone system. If you're not ready to go fully organic, there's a website, ewg.org, that lists the Dirty Dozen. Those are the fruits and vegetables that have the most pesticides sprayed on them. And then they also have the Clean 15, which are the least contaminated foods. So this is a sample of the daily schedule. When you wake up, you'll have a glass of room temperature lemon water, take your probiotic, and then poop. Yes, we're going to be talking a lot about poop. Scrape your tongue, and then brush your teeth afterwards. Enjoy 10 to 15 minutes of mindfulness, which could be prayer, meditation, gratitude, journal, breath work, yoga, and then eat breakfast, and we'll have suggested meals mid-morning. If needed, have a high-power snack such as a smoothie, a warm cup of broth, one hard-boiled egg, or half an avocado. And then lunch, and you'll add a tablespoon of cultured vegetables with that. And then if you want a snack in the afternoon, the same thing. You just do a smoothie, a warm cup of broth, one hard-boiled egg, or an avocado. And you don't have to have the snacks if you don't want, but some people are hungry, you know, and even if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you don't want to be stressed, because that will take a lot of things out of balance. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then eat dinner and add a tablespoon of the cultured veggies. And then before bed, you know, write in your food diary everything that happened that day. Sometimes the first couple of days you may want to do your food journal while carry it with you during the day, so that you can write down any symptoms that come up, you know, such as if you got a headache or your knee ached, because in functional nutrition, this is not like allopathic Western medicine. We consider everything to be connected. So if you eat a certain food, and every time you eat that food, we notice that 2 hours later you get a headache, or you get a backache, or your stomach gets bloated, then we know there's something that could be going on with that food. And, you know, it just kind of helps in the whole picture. You know, we don't ever jump to conclusions. Right now we're just tracking to see if we can see patterns, and that's really the whole purpose. And so you also want to keep track of your poop, and there's a Bristol stool chart that you can download from the internet, and it just gives you a number that you can keep track of your poo with that number to see if it's in normal range or not. And if it isn't, you know, it should start to normalize after a few days. And speaking of poo, you definitely want to make sure that you're going at least one time a day. A lot of people say that 2 or 3 times a day is normal, but at least one time a day, because I found it incredible that there are a lot of people that only go once or twice a week, and all that is toxic, big time toxic, that can definitely seep out of your large intestine back into your bloodstream. So definitely want to be getting rid of that waste once a day. And that's also part of, you know, what's taking out the hormones. I haven't really talked much about hormones in this video, but we will talk about some of them. But there's four phases of your hormones, and the very last one is the one we're working on, the detox and elimination. And first of all, you have to detox, but you also have to be eliminating, and your poo is the #1 way that you would eliminate those old hormones that are used up. And so you might also want to take a warm Epsom salt bath, because Epsom salt brings the toxins out of your skin. And get off your devices at least 2 hours before you go to bed, because I'm not going to talk about it a lot today, but the EMF from electronic devices disturbs people's sleep, and it also disrupts your hormones. Well, and speaking of bedtime, it is best if you choose the time that you're going to go to bed. 10 o'clock is usually an optimal time. And get up in the morning, 7 o'clock or so, get you know, 8 hours of sleep, 9. Sometimes I sleep 9 or 10 hours to feel my best. So you definitely want to try to get into a routine. So let's talk a little bit about hormone imbalance and why it's important to balance your hormones. You know, basically it's essential for your health and well-being. When your hormones are imbalanced, everything from your energy levels to your digestion can be interrupted. And the life of the modern woman is not stressful enough. Hormone imbalances can affect us on a mental, emotional level that can lead to depression, anxiety, irritability, and mood swings too. Long-term hormone imbalance can also increase your risk for several conditions such as hypothyroidism, which means your thyroid metabolism is too slow. Adrenaline fatigue. That is a big one right now with all the stress people are under. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, cancer, and even autoimmunity. Some of the signs of hormone imbalance are absent periods, allergies. Like, who would have thought allergies could be from hormone imbalance? Anxiety, autoimmunity. I could go on and on about autoimmunity in this country, but I'll save that for another video. Body aches and pains, difficult periods, difficulty conceiving, endometriosis, estrogen dominance, feeling exhausted all the time, fibroids and cysts, hot flashes, night sweats, irregular periods, joint pain, low sex drive, miscarriages, mood swings, PCOS, resistant weight loss, skin issues, tender breasts, thinning hair, hair loss, or excess hair. You know, I don't need to mention it, but I kind of know I've got an imbalance when those little crazy wild hairs pop out of my chin. They just seem like they come out overnight. But anyway, it's kind of off the topic. Thyroid disease, water retention, weight gain, especially the belly, the hips, and the thighs. That's where women get it, especially after they hit 40, 45. So let's talk a little bit about the roots of imbalance. I would say the number one source of imbalance is stress, and we really can't avoid it, so we just have to manage it. Sometimes we can't avoid it, but a lot of times it's out of our control. Sleep issues, not being able to go to sleep when you feel exhausted, not sleeping 8 hours, not going to bed at the same time, sleep disturbances where you wake up after a couple of hours and you can't go back to sleep. There's just a lot of issues around sleep, and that will definitely mess up your hormones, and it will definitely cause you to, it can be a source of, I'm not going to say definitely since I'm not a doctor and everyone is different. It can definitely be a source of resistant weight loss, because when you're sleeping is when you actually lose weight. Your nutrition. This month we're going to be talking about eliminating the hormone disruptors. Next month we're going to be talking more about adding in the nutrients that you could be low on, figuring out what those are. And mindset. Do you always, well, what do you think? If someone goes around all the time talking about how sick they are and I have this disease and blah blah, and their voice goes down every time you start talking to them, and they're this and they're that, and they're always complaining about sick, and they live their life around doctor's appointments, and it's part of their identity, and versus someone who wakes up every day deciding that they want to feel great, they want to thrive, they want to be happy, they want to be exhilarated, which person has the mindset that they're actually going to get better? You know, there is a lot of truth maybe to what's said about whatever you say after I am is true for you. Gut health. We're going to be talking a lot about gut health. Blood sugar imbalance. That is one of the number one things that my meal plan can help you bring your blood sugar into balance, because if your blood sugar goes too high, your body does not lose weight. If your blood sugar goes too low, your body does not lose weight. And I'm gearing this a lot towards women who want to lose weight, because that was my story, and that's who a lot of people are in this program. Endocrine disruptors. We already talked about what some of those are, but we're going to talk about more. And then there it is, weight, being over or underweight. Autoimmunity, existing medical conditions. I think right now in the United States, I think there may be something about that coming up, so I'm going to save that. But autoimmunity is just gone out of control, and it's something that can be totally managed in a natural way. And let me back that up a little bit. I'm not going to say we don't need doctors, but a lot of the conditions are mystery, and people have mystery symptoms, and it can take 3 or 4 doctors to even get a diagnosis, and that can take several years, because it's just not something that our Western medicine is set up to handle. They're set up more to help people with acute problems and not the mystery illnesses and all the different symptoms. And then I've had women come to me that say the doctors just keep saying that it's all in my head or it's all stress. Well, let's talk about stress, and it very well could be stress, but they're not learning how to take care of that and what's causing the stress and what kind of stress and what does stress mean exactly. So in today's world, I mean, I don't even watch TV anymore because everything just it seems so negative, and I want to have peace in my life. And it's just one of the things that I eliminated because it was making me feel stressed and overwhelmed much of the time, because I had a very stressful job, busy social life. At one time I had children at home, husbands, housework, meetings, family situations, and hormones. It's understandable that we would feel a little overwhelmed and stressed out. I mean, women have a lot on them these days. But the problem is chronic stress elevates a stress hormone called cortisol, which causes weight gain, especially in the mid-belly. It causes accelerated aging, hormone imbalance, and a low sex drive. So some signs that you're stressed or overwhelmed. Some people don't even correlate this with stress, but brain fog is one. I had someone recently tell me they burst into tears over what seems to be nothing. They can't make a decision to save their life. Crazy sugar cravings. That is definitely a sign of stress, and I can help you with that. Fatigued but unable to fall asleep at night. Oh, that was me. I was completely exhausted, brain fog, stressed, on and on and on, but I would go to bed and toss and turn and toss and turn, and I could not go to sleep. Poor sex drive. You feel like you're losing it. Sleep. Like I mentioned earlier, sleep is where your body does its healing. It does its work. It loses the weight. It normalizes your weight. Sleep is essential for hormone health as it stabilizes the HPA axis. That's communication between your brain and your adrenals in your ovaries. And it balances your cortisol levels. Like when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol's high, and as the day goes on, it goes back down. And then while you're sleeping, it comes back up, so you've got energy in the morning. And if you don't have energy in the morning, it could mean that you're not sleeping properly. Your cortisol levels are out of whack. It also improves your insulin sensitivity. Insulin is the trigger for the cortisol, and it regulates and releases progesterone, estrogen, and luteinizing hormones. Progesterone is your feel-good hormone. Estrogen, there's different types of estrogen we're going to talk about. And your luteinizing hormone balances your metabolism. And we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. When we think about the body as an intricate system in need of premium fuel to perform optimally, it should be no surprise that junk food and processed food are linked to higher rates of obesity, blood sugar imbalance, insulin sensitivity, and virtually every major illness. Crap in, crap out. In the same way that you wouldn't purposely subject yourself to foul smells, obnoxious sounds, unsafe surroundings, and a crowd of people who constantly insult you or threaten to hurt you, you shouldn't allow foods and drinks you consume to assault you either. In essence, that's what processed junk foods do. Mindset. Life happens, stress happens, sleepless nights, financial worries, illness, and whatever wild things come your way happen. I get it. You're worn out over your hormone health, tired of the struggle, and it isn't easy to feel positive about your situation or your body. Your mind and your body are very closely connected, and negative internal self-dialogue can show up as physical ailments. A strong positive connection between your thoughts and your body supports the healing process and can alleviate some of the symptoms and discomfort that you're experiencing. Not to mention, staying positive will significantly help your mental and emotional health. You may already know that I have a couple of separate digital courses that deal only with mindset because it is so important that you get this right. It's probably, I would say, even more important than food, because if your mindset is right, you're going to eat foods that your body knows are good for you. You're going to take better care of yourself. Gut health. Oh my goodness, the gut health relationship is perhaps the most overlooked aspect of hormone health. Without a healthy gut, you won't get far with balancing your hormones. Exciting new science has shown incredible connections between the microbiome, that's the network of bacteria in the gut and all over the body, and hormone health. Taking good care of your gut is key to avoiding common health concerns and promoting excellent health, energy, and vitality. Yay, that's what we all want, more vitality. Now in the resources section, I have a video of a doctor going over the microbiome, and he also explains about prebiotics and probiotics. But I'm going to be making videos on this too because it's so important to understand what's really going on in your gut, because it's extremely common, depending on what kind of diet and lifestyle you're coming from, to have what's called a leaky gut, where it just isn't working properly. And when you start doing your food diary, you're going to notice if your stomach bloats after certain foods. And we're eliminating some of the foods that are commonly known to cause that, but there are other ones. So we'll just have to see what's going on with you. Blood sugar. Do you need to quit sugar? Maintaining sugar balance is essential if you want to regulate your hormones. The unfortunate fact is you cannot balance your blood sugar if you frequently consume processed carbohydrates and sugar. The reason is simple. When you eat sugar, your body responds by releasing insulin. That's what it's supposed to do. Insulin triggers the release of cortisol, and cortisol, the stress hormone we talked about. When the demand for cortisol is consistently high, it will inevitably lead to hormonal imbalance, especially the reproductive hormone progesterone. Progesterone is the feel-good hormone that opposes the action of estrogen. Additionally, there are insulin receptors in the ovaries. So when insulin is too high, the ovaries overproduce testosterone. High testosterone levels can lead to conditions such as PCOS. So as you're starting to pick up, everything is connected. All things matter. Everyone is unique in that way. So again, how insulin affects your hormones. Insulin triggers the release of cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone we always hear about. When the demand for cortisol is always high, it will inevitably lead to hormonal imbalance, especially the reproductive hormone progesterone. Progesterone is the feel-good hormone that keeps estrogen in check. Low progesterone is the primary reason for estrogen dominance too. Think about anxiety, panic attacks, heavy periods, hot flashes. All of that is related. So that's why I want you to keep that food diary and write down any of these symptoms that show up. Additionally, there are insulin receptors in the ovaries. So when there's too much insulin, the ovaries produce too much testosterone. Again, high testosterone levels can lead to conditions such as PCOS and other things. We do need testosterone, but not too much. An endocrine disruptor is anything that mimics or interferes with the endocrine system. For example, the thyroid, adrenals, ovaries. There are both internal and external endocrine disruptors. For example, stress, trauma, environmental chemicals. These are all endocrine disruptors. It's a short list. Synthetic hormones such as birth control medications and devices are also endocrine disruptors as they disrupt the normal endocrine function and suppress your hormones. We're going to be talking a lot about endocrine disruptors, and in the guide I provided for you, it goes into more depth on that. Let's talk about weight. Being underweight or overweight can have significant impact on hormonal balance. Healthy weight management is essential for balanced hormones. Here's why. Hormones affect your metabolism and vice versa. So it can be a cycle. When you start working on balancing your hormones, your weight can normalize. Thyroid hormones regulate your metabolism. Estradiol is a type of estrogen. It's the good one. It also regulates metabolism and body weight. Excess body fat increases estrogen levels. The bad estrogen, the estrone it's called, and estrogen makes fat cells, and the estrogen can get stuck there, and I don't care how much you exercise or starve yourself, that is not going to work. That's why we have to work on getting the hormones in balance so that you're making estradiol and not estrone. Stress also is a big factor in that. Too little body fat or being underweight can lead to hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is missed periods, or infertility. For reasons that aren't yet completely understood. Women have a higher risk of developing autoimmune conditions over men, and 85% of patients with multiple autoimmune diseases are female. Women experience many hormone changes during their lifetimes, such as puberty, menopause, pregnancy. These endocrine system changes have significant effects on the immune system and increase susceptibility to women with autoimmune disorders. As well, pre-existing autoimmune or other health conditions themselves influence the endocrine and may result in endocrine system disruptions that lead to hormone imbalance. Sounded like a lot of techno-babble, but one of the biggest things you can do if you have autoimmunity diagnosis, or you have mystery symptoms, or you want to avoid getting that, is to bring your hormones into balance. And it'll also bring your immune system into balance. Autoimmunity is a sign of an overactive, out of balance immune system. Now that I said that, I need to say the opposite. Cancer is a sign of an underactive immune system, but they're both out of balance, and this program can help you bring those into balance. So that's it for getting started. I'll have more videos throughout this program, so I just want to thank you, and let me know if you need help getting started. I do want you to schedule your 30-minute with me, and you can do it now, so we can talk about maybe some things that you need to change up front, or you can schedule it during the first week or so when you're getting started. So you have all the tools that you need for thriving and balanced hormones. What's more, you have me. I'm here for you every step of the way, so reach out to me if you have any questions. I don't want you to just give up. I want you to reach out to me. Bye. Thank you so much. Hope to hear from you soon.